Welcome, Soul Warriors, to the January 2024 Energy Update. This is where Wolf and I share all the hits that we are getting on what is coming in January, so you have a good pulse on what's going on, so you can navigate this crazy, crazy world with a lot more ease. So let's dive right into it. 2023 was all about all this stuff piling up on top of us, so we really had to kind of be compressed and go inward and introspect a lot on what's going on inside of us, why we're feeling so much about everything that's going on around us, and how we've partaken in that and created it.
Right. And this is all about action. We're in the action phase of things. So it's important for us to understand that we spent the last year in introspect, if you will, versus, taking action, which is fine. It's all good. You're in the right place. So moving forward in these energies is going to be about all the things you want to create and really getting to a place where you're working out of love, you're working out of the highest form of vibration you possibly can, so that you can manifest the right things.
Exactly. And for a lot of you, this is going to mean identity shifting. This is going to mean stepping out of old parts of you, starting to identify programs that are holding you back. We have two ways we primarily walk through this world. It's with our subconscious mind just running on autopilot. And that's where all these programs come in, or being super present, super in the now. And that's when you're being conscious of what you're doing. The autopilot is great because it helps you walk, breathe, like all those things. But it is not great when it's playing that old poverty mentality program in the background, the I'm not enough program.
And it keeps you stuck too. That's the other thing. It keeps you stuck because you're consistently repeating the story, like you said, and really in a subconscious way. And you're just like maneuvering through the whole thing. I had a conversation with someone this past week, and it was all around money. Okay, they have a certain mentality about money, and I questioned why do you think that way, and really didn't have an answer. A little bit, they got a little bit defensive because they were trying to protect what they were thinking and feeling, and that's one of the things about challenging one's mindset. What is the true story behind what you say about money? What is it that you say about relationships? What is it that you say about the different things that you want to create in your life? So if you're sitting in the, let's take money for example, like we've been, so you're sitting in this defined story of how much money is available, or
reasonable.
So and so should only be making this, so and so should only be making that. It's like, we're not here to decide or judge what people are making. Where is that mindset for you? Is it okay for you to feel that this person shouldn't make this kind of money, but if it's offered to you, it's okay for you to make it? See how it doesn't make any sense? So what is the true story? What is the core of what that mindset is for you? So that's one example, and that was the conversation I was having with someone, and it was very interesting because I do challenge it. There's a lot of mindset around money and all these things, and it's like, I don't know, it drives me a little crazy.
It does, because they're just unconscious things, and so it's like not surprising that the person didn't have an answer, because most of the times these are just programs that were put in when we were very, very small. So we don't even realize they're there. We don't realize that we have this whole bias on how we're looking at things because of what we were taught a long time ago. Again, because it's subconscious. So this is where we're starting to stay real present and listening to what's coming out of our mouth and watching what actions we're taking and how it's aligning. Because using money, again, if you're calling in like, I want more abundance, I want more money, I want to feel better about myself, but the program in the back of your head is saying, well, you're just a piece of shit, or you're not worth that, or those people aren't worth that, or you're pointing outward instead of looking inward. Like all those things, they're just mere distractions. So January is really calling you to stop the distractions, start looking at what are those things that make you uncomfortable to talk about? What are those things that when you start talking about it, you get negative or you're poo-pooing it away? What are those things that when somebody challenges you or starts asking questions, you try to change the subject, or the ego acts up to try to protect you because you're not sure where it comes from. It's just coming out of you. And that's, just something I said, stop reading into it. We want you to read into it. The universe is calling you. Your soul is calling you to start reading into it. Where are those things coming from? Because the only way to tear them down and to let those old programs be replaced by new, stronger programs is to identify that they're there and then practice the opposite.
Mm-hmm. I mean, we're sitting in a time, or going into a time, where ego-driven existence is coming to an end. It's about really tapping into your knowing, really getting into the vibration of wealth, the vibration of health, the vibration of love, all those things that really, really high for you, so that you can stop wishing and actually taking action towards the things that you're looking for in your life. Because if we consistently dream about something or think about something, or just kind of like, okay, maybe shoulda, woulda, coulda, that kind of thing, it's not going to manifest. So these energies for the new year is all about the action. What are you going to do? What are you actually going to say? And mean that. Like, not just what you think you should say, but what do you really want to say? What do you really mean about what you're saying? And really being conscious about that. And I think that's going to be the important part, because that's going to set the tone vibrationally on what's to come. So if you're in a place of, this is the story, you're believing that, you're saying that to yourself, but then other things are coming out of your mouth. Now you're confusing the shit out of everything.
Mm-hmm. So this is where you're being called to really look at what topics do you avoid. What things, when people ask you about, you're like, oh yeah, I'm fine, or oh yeah, that's great, but inside you're feeling a certain kind of way. Those are the things that need to start coming out. You've had them inside you. You've maybe looked at them for a while, but they need to start coming up so that they can come out and they can start shifting. So this is where you're asking people that you truly trust, like, what's something that I say all the time? Or if you hear me say something like over and over, like a phrase or saying, let me know what it is. I'm just curious. You don't have to tell them what you're working on, whatever, because people like to observe and they love to judge. So they'll be like, oh, you always say this and this. And just take it as information. Thank you so much. And you just take it for yourself. Or if it's somebody on a different level that you really trust in a different way, have a deeper conversation about it. Like, I never talk about this, but I just need to get it out. And this is how I'm feeling in this situation. And put boundaries around it. Like, I don't need any feedback, or maybe you do need feedback. Tell them what you're looking for. Or if you just want to get it out, and allow them to hold that space for you and play that role for you. People want to help. So this is shifting out of your people pleaser and allowing other people to support you for a change. Mm. And we're also to make it clear that introspection from 2023 is not over. It's being married now with this action piece of it. Mm. So you've been urged for like almost 3-4 years now to slow down, go within. And now it's like, okay, if you've been doing that work and you're at that place, now it's the time to hit the gas pedal and let's go. And this is making sure you're not doing it from the old programming of more. I want more money. I want a better relationship. I want more friends. I want more travel. More, because I don't have enough. It's like a whole lack program that we've been taught, so that we're constantly chasing that apple on the stick and we're never quite reaching it because we always want more.
Right.
So take a look at what you want less of. Like, I want less noise. I want less drama. I want less busyness. And start creating an environment around you, because hopefully you already have, and if not, it's not too late to start. Create an environment within you that is more simplistic, that is peaceful, that feels free to you, so that you can take action and operate from that place. And if you haven't been doing the work, start now. Mm-hmm. You have plenty of people around that have been doing the work and that are here to support you. And it's never, ever, ever too late to start. You're not behind. It's right on time for you, because we all function at different speeds and different places and spaces in our life.
Right. You have to trust that you're exactly where you need to be. Letting it be okay is the message I want you to understand, because it's not a race. It really isn't a race for us. We're here. We're doing this together. We're managing all the things that we need to manage in our life. But slowing down, like Tara says, is very, very important, because then it gives us the ability to see where we've come from versus, I need to get here.
Right. Because that's totally missing the moment, missing the
Right.
magic of it,
Right.
operating either, from the past or with just looking at the future. You're missing the sweetness of life.
So when tapping into these energies that are up and coming, trust yourself. Please trust yourself, because you've got everything that you need to be able to maneuver this. You've been doing the work, and if not, you're in the process of the work. So trust that. We're sitting in a place right now where we're not trusting the way we feel, trusting the way we speak, trusting what we take action on. So in a moment where action is required, please trust that. Because I think it fails us sometimes when we think, no, I can't do that because I don't feel comfortable, or I don't feel this, or I don't feel that. Ask yourself, why don't you feel comfortable when you know you have everything that you need? And that you get curious. It's all about getting curious again.
Right. And trust is like a muscle that you build. So, I mean, you might just find one phrase that we said in this whole thing that resonates with you, and all the rest you're like, whatever, I don't agree, or I don't believe what they said, or it has nothing to do with me. Maybe this one word or this one phrase was just for you. So just take what's hitting your soul, what's resonating with it. Like, this is a lesson in everything, and discern the rest of it. This is the time where you're stepping more and more into your power, so that you can begin to create from a place of enough, instead of a place of judgment of, because I'm supposed to want these things, I'm supposed to create these things, I'm supposed to make the New Year's resolution. You're not supposed to do anything except align with your soul and live in the most peaceful, loving way for you, so you can truly live. We hear this so much from our clients all the time when we're tapping in with them, that they're like, I'm living, but I don't feel alive. And that's the difference of going through that subconscious, rat race mentality we've been in, and this year just stepping into taking aligned action. Because if you're not taking aligned action, you're simply creating more suffering for yourself.
I want to give you a quick message before we get back to this episode. Unlock the secrets of your soul for free with Soul Notes. Say goodbye to feeling stuck and hello to the validation of your alignment. These weekly prompts are filled with reminders, gentle nudges, and sometimes a kick in the ass, all with love from your soul. Don't just take our word for it. Try Soul Notes for yourself and see the difference it can make in your life. Trust us, your soul and you will thank you. Just go to soulnote.org. That's SOULNOTE.org. Now back to our podcast.
And there's so much suffering going on. We do not need to add to that pile onto ourselves.
Yeah, you get to really solidify some of the things that are going on within you. I mean, I had a moment this past week. I got some really bad news. 2 people that I knew passed away, and it put me in a place where I had to really reflect on my own mortality, first of all, because they were all around my age. They were living their dreams. They were doing the things that they needed to do and all that. And so when I heard the information, when I got the information, I kind of sat back and started reflecting on, my connection with them. It put me in such a pause. And I thought that was an interesting thing. It was just like these energies are so, I don't know. I don't even know if there's a word for it. They're just like jumbled all together, if you will. And you can go from happy to bored to lack to all these different things. So you have to be mindful and aware of what you're feeling, or what you're saying, or what you're thinking, so that you don't get jumbled up in the mix of all that, because it was an interesting, weird process for me.
I had a similar experience, and from what I was getting coming through to me is that the bored feeling is when I've clicked into and received the information that I was supposed to, so it's time to do something else. So if I'm sitting in something a little bit too long, they're like, okay, I'll use your example instead of going through everything that I had gone through. I've acknowledged the energy, I've acknowledged the people, I've acknowledged their humanness, I'm acknowledging now their essence and their existence in spirit form. I'm looking at the grief, I'm looking at it from my own perspective, from their life perspective, and I'm feeling pause in the stillness and the peace. Exit. Next thing. Where a lot of people will continue to sit in it and sit in it and sit in it. Not that you won't revisit, because grief has, many stages and everything, that you'll cycle around. But that bored feeling clicks in when your soul is like not engaged at that point. Or that's how it worked for me, different for everybody else.
What was interesting is that when I was sitting in meditation, it was clearly said to me that there are a lot of things ending around you. So I'm taking that as they want me to be, first of all, aware that there's a lot of changes happening, and there's a lot of endings happening, along with a lot of new beginnings, and watching things unfold. And it was a really interesting place to be, because you're just like, here you are grieving people that at the same time as like, okay, what else is going to happen to like all this? What's going to happen? Like what's going to come up? Like what new things are going to arise that are going to be beneficial in a very global and very personal way too, because I tap into both. So yeah, it was a really interesting process to go through for sure. So it gave me a really good bird's eye view as to the energies that are going to be surfacing.
And so notice that pause. So take that pause yourself and start noticing your own patterns and your own bird's eye view on what's going on. And know that the energies are moving so quickly right now that things shift on a dime way more than they used to. What used to take 5 years for us to manifest or process through can happen pretty instantly. So know that you're not doing it wrong if like this old person that you grieved took all this years and years, and now you're feeling it easier or more complete more quickly. The same thing with spiritual awakening. We'll tag a spiritual awakening video that we did about all the stages of that. That's helped a lot of people, because the stages, you're going to more rapidly like evolve through them and circle back to stage 1 after you've hit 5, to do a whole nother layer, but you'll be able to do them more quickly.
What I've also been noticing it gearing towards is like, we can't ignore shit anymore. Like things are coming blatantly to our faces. Like it's like you either deal with this or it's going to keep coming over and over and over
a
again.
lot more quickly.
Yeah.
It's not going to be this, you've sat in it for a year, 2 years, the topic's going to come up again. It's going to be like days and weeks until you deal with it, you face it somehow, some way.
I'm seeing a lot of people being challenged right now, because they're like, you've ignored this enough. So it keeps popping up for them, and needing to make choices and changes and doing the things, that, like I said before, there's a big difference when you're dreaming about something or thinking about something versus taking action to create the change that needs to occur, so that you can keep moving forward, so that you can, really get to that full and peaceful place. It's just not going to happen on its own. It's just going to perpetuate, so that you can like snap out of it and say, okay, I need to handle this. I need to make those decisions that I need to make, or, take that step I need to take. So, but it's really blatant in people's faces. Like it's like, take a good look. This stuff needs to heal. I like to say heal and deal.
Exactly. Yep. January is totally, this is the time that new earth has come in, where we are combining all of our spiritual gifts and staying in the frequency that is appropriate for us. And on this physical plane, taking the actions, again, the aligned action, that is the big overarching theme of January. Identity shifting, stepping more into your power, blessing and releasing what no longer serves you.
Aligning with the high frequencies, love, compassion, all those things.
And taking action from there.
Yeah.
That's January for you.
All right.
Have a wonderful year.
Be kind.
Peace.
Peace.